Hey mamas, have you ever wondered what the happiest place on earth is? Is it America? Ha! That's a funny one. Is it Disneyland? Nope, 64 people have died there. Is it Denmark? What do you think the most depressing place in the world is? Is it America? Almost! It's Greenland. I am searching for the key to happiness, as we all are in these dystopian times. And I thought that if I can see the quote-unquote happiest people on Earth and the quote-unquote saddest people on Earth, I could just learn from both and maybe cure sadness forever. So, I went to Denmark. One of the first things I stumbled across was a knock-knock joke stand-up comedy show in English. And I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that laughter is probably a good indicator of happiness. So, I bought a ticket and took my seat.
Yeah, more energy! On the count of 1, 2, 3, shout your country name. Let me hear what, like, 1, 2, 3.
Canada.
Canada. I heard Canada.
Unfortunately for me, I was an easy target for crowd work since I was sitting alone.
Hi.
Hello.
You look suspicious. What's you need friends or how somebody's coming?
No, the empty seat here. So.
Anybody looking for? No. What brought you to Denmark?
Well, I'm trying to see. I heard that this is like the happiest place in the world, so I'm trying to like see if that's true.
Okay, and what is your prediction? Do you have anything right now?
I'd say it's probably in like the top 30.
Top? Okay, so you have 24 hours. Danes, very quickly, what should he do?
You should go to the Christiania.
Christiania, my friend. Do you know about Christiania?
Australia?
I was getting laughed at a little bit too much for my ego, so I left.
I don't think they fuck with me. I have never been a hate crime for being Canadian until today. I thought that shit would happen in the United States of America since we're at war.
But decided to take their happy place recommendation, and I went to the place that is not called Australia, but Christiania, which used to be an open-air drug market with no laws, and apparently still is an open-air drug market.
What's that?
You need something? Yeah, what you wonder what it is? It's how do you say? THC, it's compressed.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Alright,
Well, I have never been offered a drug before by a dealer. I didn't even know dealers still walked around. But he was so friendly, and he was so educational. I didn't even know what it was. Now I know. Who would have thought you could compress cannabis? But hash aside, one thing I kept seeing was babies with drums. There was posters to get your babies onto some drums. I don't know what that was about. You know, I gotta say, as far as open-air drug markets go, I kind of love this one. Apparently a bunch of hippies in like the 70s just stormed a military base and declared it theirs, and they gave it to them. Do you remember what happened last time Americans tried to storm a military base?
These were the folks who finally tried it, a few dozen running toward an entrance of Area 51.
We're nothing. Happy drug dealers aside, babies with drums aside, I still wasn't feeling like this place was the happiest place on earth. So I went on something called a happiness tour, where they show you what makes Denmark so happy.
Why do they consider us so happy? What is it? My life is like gray skies, drizzle rain, hard winds, and cold. And it's a kind of impressive place to be.
And she wasn't selling it to me that well. So I tried one last thing. Going to a happiness museum.
Oh, y'all don't play about this happiness shit.
They had a map that showed every country and how happy or sad they were. Denmark was on top by a large margin, and every country with brown people was depressing, apparently. Also, they had a Trump hat on display to show unhappiness, which I thought was cute. That's like a little artifact for you guys, and not reality. But then I finally found my answers in the form of thousands of sticky notes of people saying what makes them happy. People wrote inspirational reasons for living, like seeing others achieve their dreams, and stroking their chicken, their dog, and sex. Their dead dog, sex. Their dog Tilly, their dog Boz, cats, another dog named Franklin, good sex. I felt the need to contribute something, but I didn't know what to put, and I feel like I really am bankrupt when it comes to being sincere, so I put this. But like, listen, you can have a dog and good sex anywhere, in any country. There are probably motherfuckers living in sheet metal houses who pet their dog and then go do doggy style and are still depressed. So, I left with no answers. Also, I had to go check into my Airbnb, which when I arrived, realized was a fucking boat.
You're fucking with me.
That you have to paddle a raft to get to. I don't know how I messed this up that bad. And when I tried to de-dock the boat and paddle out there was like gale force winds in the opposite direction. In 10 whole minutes, I moved exactly 5 feet.
The wind is way too strong to get to the goddamn my hotel. Trip to Denmark, not off to a good start. Almost had to call the Coast Guard, the Danish Coast Guard.
Before you laugh at me, how about you stop and think? Imagine you were in my situation, and a gaggle of Danish teenagers are laughing at you as you fight for your life to not get stranded at sea and bucking what feels like hurricane winds. So I tried to get like a refund, and the hotel owner gaslighted me and told me to try again later. And when I said I'm not a fucking Olympic rower, he ghosted me, so I had no place to stay. But as I was walking and moping around, I saw signs for something called Copenhell and ominous buses with devil horns using the route number 666, and I thought maybe I had died at sea and was paying the price for recording Zoom hacking videos in the peak of COVID when there was an education crisis already and teachers were throwing up from stress. But it turns out it was a heavy metal music festival. So I bought a ticket off some dude selling his wristband outside, and I waltzed right in there.
This would kill 90% of the people I saw at Coachella.
Not exactly sure how I wound up here. Is that a real... I think that's a working guillotine behind me. It was so very interesting. They had a fountain of blood. Also, they were giving people an idea of a haircut. The bathroom situation was also very interesting, but genius, dare I say. I have literally never seen anything like that. There's not even a need to flush. It just flows downhill. A pissoir. That guy's been pissing for 4 minutes straight. Oh, he's happy about it. He's happy his bladder's about to combust. What's that one joke? I wonder if she'll play Hot to Go. Truth be told, I was feeling a very welcoming vibe here in the crowd to see Poppy, whom I only know from that ominous video of her and Grimes arguing in like a Jubilee-ass room. Before she came on stage, she had an intro that was putting me in a very strange headspace.
You're a stranger to everyone you've ever loved. They don't recognize you anymore. It's always dark outside, and you always feel something's missing.
But then she came on and everything was kind of awesome. I really felt like those cryptic Addison Rae tweets where she was like, I love music. Music speaks. Music is power. And you know what? Music does speak. Music is power. I love music. Except for this big ass dude who tried to crowd surf and nearly killed me and this girl. I didn't love that part. I don't think she loved it either. And also I got thrown into a mosh pit.
Are you guys happy? Are y'all happy? Are you guys happy?
I think this guy was, and so were many other Danes. But alas, I still had not found the Krabby Patty recipe for not wanting to kill her. So I stayed up until my flight to Greenland because I was effectively homeless for the night, and also I got hit in the head like 4 times in the mosh pit, and they say if you sleep with a concussion you will fucking die. So I found myself traveling to Nuuk, Greenland, still without any real idea on how to be happy. I know Danish people love dogs and sex, and that makes them happy, but what if it's too cold to have sex in Greenland? And what if all the dogs are too busy at work being sled dogs to pet them? The Air Greenland game section was also not promising. They just had like a Temu Dress to Impress, which I tried playing for 5 minutes, and then I got sad. But then I looked out the window at one of the most remote countries in the world, and I hate to sound jaded and annoying, but this shit felt like I was landing in Calgary, Alberta. The only real difference that I noticed when I walked off the plane was the bathrooms weren't separated by gender, but rather if your shirt was really short or a little bit longer. The bus was like a whole 5 minutes across town to get to my hotel, and when I started walking around, I quickly realized that the people here seemed, dare I say, happy. Maybe a little bit too happy. And then I got jumped by this pack of teenagers.
Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Lucas.
Lucas.
What about you? My name is Usoya.
I'm not going to try to pronounce it.
Where are you from?
I feel like they use it. Canada.
Are you alone here?
Can you talk French?
No, I don't know anything.
Hello.
I'm going to France.
I can't help you. Alright, y'all have fun. Bye. Bye.
And then immediately after, I was almost fucking killed by a shipment of logs. I shit you not, I was walking a few feet from this truck when the logs started to make a rattling noise, so I backed the fuck up, and then they almost completely toppled, and they had to use like a crane thing to right it.
1 hour into the Nookening, almost got crushed to death by logs. I am so goddamn high up on this globe. Now, like me, you might be looking at this beautiful vista. And I've never used that word in my life. This is a vista. And you might think, how could you be depressed here? How could you be depressed?
On a surface level, this place seemed just like any town you could find in Canada or maybe northern United States. They had a mall that was half empty except for an electronics store where they somehow had a stack of Nintendo Switch 2s that were in stock, and a healthy amount of fuck off Donald Trump sentiment, because in case the news cycles have been moving a little bit too fast for your brain recently, just 3 months ago, Trump threatened to take over this fucking country, and his little MAGA boys came and terrorized this town for weeks on end. But I figured to understand a country's heart, you have to hear from the people that live there. So, I got in contact with an old Greenlandic woman, and she invited me to her home to have coffee with her son and a couple of translators.
Hi, I'm Ben.
I sat down, and she had made me soup on top of delicious pastries and bread and tea, and God bless her soul.
Yeah.
So when are you going to be part of the 51 states?
I think we're first. Have you noticed, like, since a lot more Americans are coming here, it's like, has it been kind of different?
They're just here, you know. We went for a restaurant and the whole, the big table was just Americans,
and a lot of people actually ask, would you rather be with Denmark or would you rather be with America? And there's a very beautiful answer to it, and that's we'd rather be ourselves. Why in the world would we want to choose a colonial master from another if we can choose freedom? That's what we want.
Valid.
There is some tea there, and there is some honey there if you want.
Thank you. So what would you say your favorite part of living here is?
Well, nature, for sure. Yeah. We took this boat into the fjord yesterday, and it was great. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
Wow.
Really nice.
What would your least favorite part of living here be?
If you want to go like to Portugal or something, it's a little bit like now we got an international airport, so it's become much easier. But before was like you had to go to another American base. It took like all day long, you know.
Just to get out of the country, and there's still that 4-hour flight out of the country as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were just in St. Thomas in March. She had her 80-year birthday.
18. I was gonna say 17, but
the industrialism came to Greenland, and like all the old customs, they kind of disappeared, and no one wanted to like pick them up. And they're like, they're just gonna disappear now. No one know how to build a kayak.
She's also used to be in charge of like kids who are underprivileged, getting them starting in sports and like getting them starting in
voluntary.
Through an organization called Save the Children.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and then they actually made a stand.
Whoa!
Stand. This is the Save the Children logo.
That's pretty cool.
Now. So if you have 18 kroner, you can lick my mom's neck.
That's a steal. You can charge more for that. Let me tell you.
I feel a sort of kinship with the people here. And maybe it's partly because we are geographically neighbors, we share an Inuit people, maybe it's because we have the same imperialistic dictator threatening our sovereignty, but I really just love sitting there and listening to all the beauties of Greenlandic culture.
A lot of the time right now that the Americans have so much interest in Greenland is that they say we can give you that much money for your freedom. And she says that for us, money doesn't mean anything. Money has never influenced her specific life, specifically her life, because during her childhood, they don't need money. They could exchange, they could trade to each other. They didn't need money to have a value in the society. So whenever people tell us that we can get that much money if we become part of the US or whatnot, she says, no, it doesn't. Money doesn't have any value to me. We shouldn't focus on how much money will we earn from whatever comes in the future, but it's more fulfilling living the way we live. Our life is more valuable than what money brings. And she's been living her entire life without the need of money. Right? We love, as Inuit, we love singing. We love like celebrating in this type of environment that we sing, that we go together and we have this uplifting spiritual moment.
Well, thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As I was leaving, one of the translators, Sitka, invited me to dinner with some friends.
Yeah.
Do you have any dinner plans?
Tonight, no. None.
Because my brother, he was like, you want to go out for pizzas? If you want to eat dinner with us?
I'm down.
Now listen, I never just hang out with people that I just met, but they were all so friendly. They were offering me dried caribou before our pizzas had even arrived. And then the day kept going, and they asked me if I wanted to come worship. Now here's a part where I thought that meant like experiencing a folk religion. I was not expecting what I was into. They brought me to this American man's house and didn't explain what we were going to be doing. And then they handed me what I thought was a Bible. Then we took a quick break and I got to ask Sitka what it was all about.
Wait, so what is Baha'i? Like, I've heard of it before, but I heard the name of that. Yeah.
And we believe in all of the other religions. As Baha'i, we believe in Christianity, we believe in Islam, we believe in Hindu. And we call them manifestations from God, so Jesus is a manifestation from God, and Muhammad is a manifestation from God, Moses is a manifestation. And then if you do all the calculations, then you'll hit in 1844, and the same with Muhammad, he says, I'll be back. Moses, he also says, I'll be back. All of them says they will be back, and they all correspond to 1844, where a guy then says, I'm the one.
So what I gathered was they believe in all religions at the same time, and that Jesus and Muhammad and the rest of the gods came back to life in 1844 in a guy named Bayala. So did I think that's where I would be an hour after eating pizza with these folk? Well, the answer to that would be no. But they did let me hop on the drums for a little bit.
Thanks for having me.
Just hit me up.
Yeah.
I'm on the streets. Good night.
See ya.
Leaving this place, not exactly finding out the answer to happiness, but rather just almost got indoctrinated into Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism, and the other ones all at the same time. Triple kill, you could say. Well...